Hello, hello. This is Budgets with Grace, where I give you a glimpse of my life through the lens of my budget. My name is Grace. And if you don't know, if you're new around here or if you're returning, I'm showing you my business budget right now. This is how I handle all of my freelance income as a UX UI designer. If you don't know those terms, they're tech industry terms. It just means that I basically design the screen that you're looking at and give that screen to genius computer developers so they make it into an actual working app or website, etc. And in the last video, you saw me budgeting from that same profession, but a different job. That job pays me in the form of a W-2, so they take out all my taxes for me. But in my freelance income, I'm paid a gross amount and I have to set aside the taxes for that. I use a method called Profit First. I have been using this for a while now, just for a few of my freelance paychecks, and I really like it so far. So I'll talk you through it as I go. So my first category is called Profit First, and these are all the kind of bucket categories. You can see I have percentages next to all of them, so that's how I'm going to determine how much to put into each one. So I'll take the full amount, which is $2,600, and just multiply it by 0.02 or 2%. And for taxes, 25. For compensation, my owner's compensation, 65. And the last one are just expenses, and that will be 8%. Cool. So first I'm going to do profit, and it has its own category down here. This has changed a tiny little bit since your last year. I decided to add profit for giving. So my goal is to do 45% into distribution, 45% into reserve, and 10% into giving. I'm not sure what I am going to give to through my business, but perhaps I would give it to my College of Design, where it's College of Fine and Performing Arts at a university. I don't think I'd want to give directly to my university, but I could see giving it to my department. So first thing I'm going to do is multiply this by 10%, and oops, that doesn't look quite right. That doesn't look quite right. Oh, that is right. I think I'm just backwards in how I was thinking of this. Maybe what I'll do is multiply it by 0.9, and that puts the amount that I want in my to be budgeted. So I'll move this into giving, and then I'll divide this by 2, and half of it goes to distributions, and then the half remaining goes into reserve. So distributions I'll be giving myself at the end of the year, and then reserve is just to keep in my account. Perhaps if it grows enough, I'll be able to purchase new equipment, like maybe a new computer. My computer is about 6 years old, so it's kind of starting to be the time to think about that. So I'm going to move on to taxes, and this one's pretty simple. I just move it all into my estimated taxes budget line. I've already paid a bunch of taxes this quarter. I don't like paying it all at the end of the quarter, like the last day it's due. I just like to pay it. Probably on Tuesday I'll transfer it for Transfer Tuesday. All right, so for owner's compensation, I would usually transfer this into my category. This is the category I use to pay myself. So any transaction that is taken from my business account into my personal account, this is what I categorize it as. But I decided to not pay myself in October because I was lucky enough to have that other job that I mentioned that's paying me. So I decided to try to get a few months ahead. And actually, that same job got extended. So I know I'm going to have 2 paychecks coming in November. So I even decided to cut my compensation in half for November. So now we're moving right along to December. And I will just transfer all of this into December. Oops, I'm saying December, but I just mean my payday category. Great. So my goal is to get this amount in December up to $4,000. I'll get back to that in just a minute. I want to distribute my immediate obligation, or rather my expense categories. Just close all those up so we can get down to the OPEX or operation expenses. And I know that I funded all of October, and it looks like I've funded a lot in November. Shouldn't need any more art supplies. I'll skip electronics for now. And this amount can go to cover my Intuit products and my Adobe. And now I'm going to push this forward even into January, which again I'll explain in just a minute. So it looks like I'm underfunded there. Cruising right through these expenses. I'm going to skip back to November. I think I will put the remainder into electronics since I'm several months ahead in my expenses. And like I said, hopefully that will grow and I won't have a surprise if something breaks and I can't afford to fix it. So now we'll get back to what I was talking about with funding into December and funding my paychecks as far in the future as I can. And a really great example of that is how I just got hired for my next job. So I start on Monday and I have 80 hours over the next 2 weeks. So in 2 Fridays, that project will be complete. And then after 30 days of the project completion, I will get paid. So this is the last paycheck I'm going to be seeing coming in through my freelance income for 6 weeks. So I hope this gives you a really good idea of the financial risk tolerance you need if you are a freelancer and how important it is to get ahead and on top of your finances so you know that you'll be getting paid even if you're out of work for a month and then it turns out you won't get your paycheck for another 6 weeks. So it's not for the risk averse. If you don't like taking out risky stocks or things like that, it might not be for you. You might just want to rely on that employer with that paycheck you can always rely on. But if you are thinking about going freelance and this doesn't deter you, you should definitely do it. Just try to build up your client base as much as possible so that you can avoid having those surprises. Now that I've been using YNAB for my business budget, I think for a couple months now, I'd like to check out some of the reports. I haven't seen any of these, so I don't even know what to expect. Holy moly. So you can see that this is probably when I started using YNAB, but I didn't bring in hardly anything in August. And then you can see it picked up in September, and then October is when all of the money that I had been earning in September finally kicked in. Inflow and outflow. I bought a new external hard drive, which was this large expense of outflows, but the net worth of my business is still trending up. Spending by category. I don't really like this view because it goes by how much you spent, so I'm going to look at income breakdown, which hopefully will give a more realistic view on what I'm paying myself. So let's see. I've only paid myself 35% of my income, which in my book is great. This will grow as I cash out those amounts that I've stashed in my categories. So as long as it doesn't go above 65%, then we're all good. Taxes right at almost 25. That's perfect. And expenses, let's see, 1.86, 1.15, so let's call that 2, maybe 3, and about 4%. So that sounds about right because I'm not spending all of these. It looks like you can see a small orange. I paid $112. I believe that was an annual subscription, and now I'm just putting in like a true expense to build up when it's due next year. And net gain, 36.65%. Very happy with that. And you can see like there's a big spike right here. This is probably the day that I paid my taxes and it went straight back down. And so that will definitely happen up here when I pay my taxes again. Just one thing I do like about the net worth in the actual YNAB reports, not the YNAB toolkit reports. Oh yeah, I should probably mention, I'm terrible at mentioning what the heck YNAB toolkit is. So YNAB toolkit is a Chrome extension, and I actually just learned from somebody in the comments that you can get it on Firefox too, which is pretty cool. And it unlocks a whole bunch of extra features. It unlocks a new reports page. That's what all these reports are from. Some of my favorite features are looking at my accounts page, these flags. I'm able to give them names, which I really enjoy. I already mentioned how much I enjoy the reporting, especially this income breakdown page. And then in my actual budget, you can see these progress bars. So it doesn't work for spending goals. So you can see my owner's compensation is a spending goal. I want to have $4,000 to spend. But because these are monthly, or I think this is a monthly contribution goal. Yeah, monthly savings goal. Savings builder, that's what they call it. So that goes a full cross when you're done. But if it's a save by date goal, then it does it incrementally as you get closer to your maximum goal. So when this goal gets $77 or 63 more dollars, the bar will go fully across. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I explained it in a very confusing way. So yeah, if you have any more questions about YNAB, or you need a budget or toolkit for YNAB, I would love to help you out with those. And if you're subscribed, or if you see my videos before and you're coming back, I really super appreciate it. And no matter who you are, you can like, comment, subscribe, all the things, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.